प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्. We are at the flag end of the fourth chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita. The Krishna enumerates numerous forms of the yajnas. In the end, in the shloka number 33a says, Shreyan Dravyamayad Yajna Jnana Yajna Parantapa. So Dravyamayad Yajnat, the yajnas involving the spending of the money, materials, etc. are called the Dravyamaya Yajnat. Compared to that, Jnana Yajna. The Jnana itself is the Yajna, the result of which is the liberation, the knowledge of Atman, the knowledge of God. That is the Shrestha, that is superior. The reason is given in the next verse, next line of the verse, Sarvam karma khilam partha jnane parisamapyate. All the karmas culminate in jnana. The essence of all the karmas is to get the knowledge. If we do the karma with interest, with the attachment, that is the ordinary karma, that will take us away from the knowledge. If we do work with disinterestedness, detachment, that is karma yoga, it will lead to chitta shuddhi or the sattva shuddhi, the purification of the mind. That will lead to jnana. The culmination, the end, the very goal of all the karmas are really jnana. So one should aim for the jnana even while doing the karma. Karma is to liberate from the karma, as Swami Vivekananda says in Karma Yoga. There is a viscous cycle of karma that leads to repeated birth and death. In order to liberate from that viscous circle of karma, we have to do karma as a karma yoga. Karma yoga is the only means through which we can get rid of the karma circle. Only jnana will remove the ignorance through which one will engage in this karma as the kartru, I am the doer, etc. This jnana, one should approach the teachers. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. So one should approach the teacher and prostrate before him and repeatedly question him. The word is very good here, very important. It is not just prashna, repeated question, successive questioning, and also very importantly sevaya. The personal service to the Guru is also very important. So if Shishya performs these actions, three actions, pranipata, pariprashna and seva, upadekshanti te jnanam, the teacher will give the knowledge, will bestow the knowledge. What kind of teachers? Tattvadarshinaha jnaninaha. They are the knowers of the truth. It is not just knowing as we know some subject here. It is the vision, it is the experience of God. It is the realization of Atman. That is what is meant here. One who has realized the truth, here it is referred to as Tattvadarshi. Tattvadarshinaha jnaninaha. And ordinary jnanis are only academic experts. They are not Tattvadarshi. Here Krishna asks us, Krishna exhorts us to go to the teachers who are Tattvadarshi. Through that knowledge, what happens? What is the result of the knowledge? That we are going to study today. And from 35 verse shloka number 35 to the end of this chapter. Yajnatva na punarmoham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhutani asheshena drakshasi atmani atho mayi. Yatu jnatva, the jnana through which one will get through the Tattvadarshinaha jnanihi. The people who are realized truth, they are Tattvadarshi and they are the jnanis. They bestow knowledge to the aspirant. Through that knowledge, moha evam moham yasyasi. You have already tormented through the moha. So already we have learnt in the beginning of Gita itself, when we studied the Shankaracharya's commentary, the basic passions of Arjuna. Arjuna is troubled from his shoka and the moha. Shoka means the sorrow and the moha means the delusion. Now we are engulfed by the moha. You are endowed with the moha. That kind of moha you will never get. Punaha na yasyati. Because jnana burns away all kinds of ignorance. The moha and shoka are the products of the ignorance. So once jnana dawns upon us, there will be no room for sorrow or the delusion. Jnanagnihi sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute tatha. Krishna says earlier. So this is a very important. Jnana is the most precious thing that can have in our life. That jnana which burns up all our impressions, all the products of the ignorance like shoka and moha, and that liberates us. What is that jnana? The knowledge of God. Knowledge of God who is immanent as well as all pervading. The God is all pervading, also He is in the heart of all. Hruddeshe Arjuna Tishtati. And the experience or the knowledge, we are not body, mind, we are spiritual in nature. We are not just physical bodies, we are spiritual entities. This knowledge only liberates us and takes us to the highest pedestal of spiritual beatitude. Yena bhutani asheshena drakshasi. So the second verse is the resonance of the Upanishad saying. The idea is seeing all the living beings in one's Atman and oneself in all the living beings. That means there is absolutely no difference between one's own Atman. I, as a spiritual entity, is not different from the whole existence. And beautifully, Krishna says here, Yena bhutani asheshena, excepting none, all the bhutas, all the jivas you will see in your Atman. That Atman is as if is a crucible where all the living beings exist. That means the whole creation, the whole existence is Atman. That Atman is not different from you. So the microcosmic Atman that seems to be dwelling in the body is not different from the macrocosmic entity, spiritual entity. The same name is given to both of them. In the Upanishad, sometimes the macrocosmic Atman is called the Brahman. So there is no difference between all pervading the Brahman and the microcosmic Atman that is dwelling in the body, mind, etc. So asheshena yena, through which, through the knowledge, all asheshena, excepting none, without any exception, all the bhutani, all the jivis, all the organisms, all the living beings, Atmani drukshyasi, you will see in your own Atman. The Atman is not body, Atman is not mind, Atman is neither intellect, Atman is our nature as spiritual consciousness. So in that spiritual consciousness, you will see all the living beings without exception. And the last idea is very interesting. Ataha mayi, you will see all the living beings in me also. So there are two ideas. You will see all the living beings in Atman, as well as you will see all the living beings in me. You will see the whole existence, whole universe in Atman, universal, as well as the whole universe, whole existence in Paramatman, in Ishvara. That means Atman is not different from Ishvara. Atman is as if, according to traditional Vedanta, is endowed with ignorance pertaining to individuality. The individual ignorance is often referred to avidya. So the individual Atman is affected by what is called avidya, the individual ignorance. The universal Atman, Paramatman, is endowed with what is called Maya, according to the orthodox Vedantist. So when we don't take consideration of the Maya aspect and the avidya aspect, what remains is Atman. Atman is Brahman. Atman is Ishvara. Ishvara is only Brahman endowed with Maya. Atman is Atman or the Jivi, the individual Atman, is endowed with avidya. So since there is no absolute avidya or the Maya, what remains, what is there in reality for the knowers of the Brahman, for the knowers of the knowledge is Brahman and Atman alone. So many times in his commentary, Shankaracharya says, this knowledge he referred, prizes as Brahmatmaikatva Vijnana. Brahma and Atma are one and the same. Brahma means universal self. Atma means, according to him, Pratyagatma, the indwelling spirit that gives consciousness to the body and mind, and they both are one and the same. So Shankaracharya, being an Advaitin, says here, it is a clear indication that knowledge involves knowing Brahman and Atman are one and the same. Brahma-Atmaikatva Vijnana. This is the jnana which liberates us. Krishna continues, Api chedasi papebhyaha sarvebhyaha papakruttamaha sarvam jnana plavenaiva vrujinam santarishyasi. He continues with the extolling, praising of the jnana. Jnana that liberates us, jnana that gives full realization, the jnana that takes us ultimate status in the spiritual evolution. Tvam papebhyaha papakruttamaha. Eva sarvebhyaha papebhyaha papakruttamaha. Even if you are the most sinful being of all the beings, sarvebhyaha means of all the beings, papebhyaha means of the sinful beings. Even if you are the worst sinner of all the sinful beings, this is the meaning. That means even if you have committed the gravest of the sin, this is the idea. Even then, sarvam vrujinam, all the sin, jnana plavenaiva. So jnana or the knowledge is compared here to the raft or the boat. You will cross the ocean of ajnana. You will cross the ocean of sin. So there is no difference between ajnana and the sin, because ajnana is compared to the sin. Ajnana is the offshoot. Ajnana's offshoot is sin. So one commits so-called sin because of the ignorance. So there is no difference between sin and the ajnana. So you will cross the ocean of so-called sin or the ajnana by the raft, by the boat of the divine knowledge. Jnana plava. Plava means raft or the boat. Jnana plaveneva eva santarishyasi. You will cross. Here Shankaracharya adds, so-called Papa Samudra. Vrajina means here Papa. Plava means the raft or the boat. Dharmopi iha mumukshoho papam uchyate. So we say dharma is not sin, but in reality both dharma and adharma are impediments, are obstacles to getting the jnana. So both are to be considered here as sin or the vrujina or the papa. So we have to cross that samsara. So only jnana will help us, jnana of our own understanding of our own real nature as the immutable Atman, pure consciousness, that only help us in crossing the ocean of the sin, ocean of ajnana. This is the meaning. So in this shloka, jnana is compared. Jnana is given a simile of the boat or the raft. In the next shloka, jnana is compared to the Agni. That is very interesting. So the earlier shloka, jnana is compared to the boat that makes us cross the sinful samsara, sinful samsara sagara, the ocean of sankhara. Here in the next shloka, we see the jnana is compared to Agni, the fire. Yataidamsi samidhognihi basmasat kurute tatha ज्ञानाग्निः सर्वकर्माणि भस्मसात् कुरुते तथा येधांसि. Yedhamsi means the fuel. Yatha yedamsi. Samidognihi agnihi yedamsi. The fuel is kindling as if the fire, or the well kindling fire by the well kindling agni by the fire. Fire needs fuel. Without fuel it will not remain, it will not blaze. So the idea is the fire has to have the fuel. Yebihi samidhaha agnihi. This is how we have to construct the sentence here. What it does, bhasmasat kurute. It reduces to ashes. It reduces to ashes everything it comes across. Agni is considered to be the purest of the things. It doesn't get polluted, but it burns away all kinds of polluted things, everything that it comes across. In the same way, Jnana Agnihi. Already Jnana is compared to Agni in the earlier shlokas. Jnanagnihi sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute tata. This is the idea here. Jnana is the most precious thing. Jnana is the most holiest thing. All these ideas we have read already in the Gita lectures. The fire of knowledge, Jnanagnihi, sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute. It reduces to ashes all the works. How can Jnana reduce all the works into ashes? Shankaracharya takes up this question and says, Jnana cannot destroy the karma directly. Jnana, in fact, it destroys the ajnana. The karmas are the products of the ajnana. I do karma with the idea that I am doing, and I am the bhokta, I am the benefiter, I will get the result, I am the beneficiary of the work, etc. That I-ness that is limited to body and mind is the problem here. That is due to our ignorance. What is ignorance? What is ajnana? In summary, knowing that which is not Atman as Atman, and knowing that which is Atman as non-Atman. Atmani anatma buddhihi. Anatmani atma buddhihi. This is what is ajnana. This is also called avidya. So there is no difference between avidya and the adhyasa. It is the superimposition of a wrong idea on an object. Suppose I superimpose the idea of snake on the rope, and that is the avidya. Avidya pertaining to the snake. So avidya is the adhyasa. Adhyasa is what is called the avidya. In the same way, I superimpose the idea of the body and mind on Atman and thinks Atman is only limited to body and mind. And this is adhyasa and this is avidya. This kind of avidya makes me feel that I am the doer. But Krishna has already said in the earlier chapter, Gunaha guneshu vartante. Gunaha means here the sense organs are interacting with the sense objects. So there is no scope for any participation of the Atman here. My senses, like eyes, ears, etc., or interacting with the particular objects of the senses called the form or the sound, etc. So this is the action done by purely by the prakriti, by the nature. So all our action, whether it is bodily action or the psychic actions, mental actions, or intellectual actions are all under the realm of prakriti. Atman has nothing to do this. But the very idea that I am doing something is the product of ajnana, product of ignorance. That ignorance being, I am the body, I am the mind, etc. What does jnana do in this case? Is jnana removes the ajnana, destroys the ajnana. The ajnana that I am the body, I am the mind, this ajnana is removed. When ajnana is removed, that corollary, the product of ajnana, that I am the doer, I am the beneficiary, all these ideas get destroyed. This is the idea. This is the meaning of the Krishna saying that jnanagnihi sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute. The jnanagni destroys, or the jnanagni burns away all kinds of karma. But karma, when we perform the karma in the proper manner, as a karma yoga, it leads to the knowledge. Though we have the idea of I am doing, we should understand that I am doing this work for the purification of the mind. So we should be selfless, we should dedicate all our actions to the God, and we should do every action as the service of God, as the worship of God. Then that kind of action will lead to purification of the mind. That purity of mind will lead to such a status where we can understand the jnana. Jnana nishta sthiti, Shankaracharya says. Jnana nishta sthiti, one who is established in jnana. Jnana nishta sthiti leads to moksha or the jivan mukti. Even while living, he feels that he is liberated. Only a prarabdha karma or the samskara will make him bind to the body. And after his death, he gives up the body, he becomes completely liberated. So there are two ideas about mukti. One is jivan mukti, another is videha mukti. Jivan mukti is celebrated in Advaita Vedanta. So if we want liberation, we have to find that liberation even in this life, even while we are living. There is no scope, there is no possibility of attaining mukti after the death without getting that mukti even while living. So the jivan mukti should lead to videha mukti. This is the Advaitic point of view. So 37th shloka is over. And Krishna continues, Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitram iha vidyate tatsvayam yoga samsiddhaha kalenatmani vindati. As I have already told you repeatedly, there is no there is nothing which is purified. Purifier, one translator has translated as purifier or purified thing. Both are correct. Jnana not only is the most purified thing in this world, and it also purifies everything else. It purifies our body, it purifies our mind, it purifies our intellect. Jnana is like a light. It gives light to the human being. It gives life to the life of the human being. So jnana is compared to light, and ajnana is always compared to the darkness. Iha, in this world, jnanena sadrusham, equal to knowledge. What kind of knowledge? Knowledge of Atman and Paramatman, knowledge of God to be understood here. Pavitram, purifier. So there may be hundreds of things which purify, but there is no thing which is more purifier than the jnana, because the reason is already given in the previous shloka. The jnana destroys or the burns away the ajnana, and when ajnana burns away, one gets liberation. Another interesting thing we have to remember here, jnana does not directly give the liberation. There is no idea in Vedanta such as jnana leads to liberation. Jnana doesn't lead to liberation. Jnana only removes the ignorance. When ignorance removed, what remains is the knowledge of Atman. It is just like this. The cloud covers the sun. When cloud is moved and the sun shines once again, the sun remains as it is. It is the cloud that has covered. When cloud moves away, the sun shines itself on its own. So jnana's work is only removing ajnana. That we should remember. Ajnana nivartakam jnanam. This is the saying, traditional saying. So, nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitram iha vidyate. Why it is called the holier of the holy? There is no holier entity than the jnana. There is no whole purifier than the jnana. Because it removes the fundamental ajnana. The fundamental ajnana, it what one makes one to think, I am the body, I am the mind, etc. So the jnana, the jnana of Atman, Brahman, the Bhagavan, removes that ajnana. That is why it is said to be the holiest of holy. There is no holier entity in this world than the jnana. Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitram iha vidyate. Tat swayam yoga samsiddhaha kalenatmani vindati. Who attains that? Who gets that? Yoga samsiddhaha vindati. What is meant by yoga here? Shankaracharya says, yoga means here yoga of meditation, samadhi yoga, and also the karma yoga. I have already explained how karma yoga leads to jnana, and now I will try to explain how samadhi yoga or yoga of meditation. Yoga of meditation will give us higher standard, higher kind of concentration. When we do upasana or the dhyana, we take up an Ishta Devata, we want to identify with Ishta Devata. Dhyana does not directly lead to jnana. Meditation will not directly lead to knowledge according to Advaita Vedanta, but it purifies our mind and it makes us one-pointed. It makes us concentrated. That concentrated mind is with the purified mind. Purity of the mind is gained through karma yoga, and concentration of the mind is gained through the dhyana yoga or samadhi yoga. Through that, one will be eligible for the jnana, jnana nishta, jnana yogyata will come. And the knowledge dawns on him, and that removes the ajnana. This is how we have to understand. Shankaracharya's words, yogena, karma yogena, samadhi yogena cha samsiddhaha. Samsiddhaha means endowed with. Endowed with. He is endowed with yoga. He has attained perfection in the yoga, karma yoga and the yoga samadhi yoga. He will become purified. So both karma yoga and the samadhi yoga purify our body and the mind, especially our mind. I told you how karma yoga purifies the mind, and I also told you how samadhi yoga or the yoga of meditation brings about higher kind of concentration to the mind. Then one will be qualified for the jnana. Yogyatam apannaha. Then that kind of aspirant, mumukshu. Mumukshu means one who is aspirant of the moksha or the highest liberation, one who aspires for the liberation. Swayam bindati, he attains on his own. This is very important. As Sri Ramakrishna says, the pure mind becomes one's own guru. Of course, the external guru gives the guidance, external guru bestows his grace, external guru will teach the student the essential of the spiritual life, but one has to realize on his own. This is important. Swayam, Swayam, Tat Swayam Vindati. He will realize on its own. When he will realize? Kalena Mahata, after a long time. That means the sadhana is necessary here. Long time means it may involve several births, thousands of births, because this sadhana takes lot of time, and even hundreds of years are not sufficient, because one has to have perfection in mind, one has to purify the mind, one has to continuously struggle to realize God. So, Mahata Kalena, that is what Shankara says. Krishna has said only Kalena, in course of time, but Shankara adds that, Shankaracharya adds, it is Mahata Kalena Vindati. Vindati means he will find himself in the knowledge. Knowledge he will find Swayam Vindati. He on his own he will find the knowledge. This is the idea. Coming to 39th shloka. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatparaha sanyatendriyaha jnanam labdhva param shantim achirenadhigacchati. There is an irony here. Kalen atmani vindati. So an ordinary aspirant has to struggle for a long time to get the knowledge. But in the next shloka it is said achirena, very soon. Who is that aspirant who will get the knowledge very soon, quickly? That we will try to understand this shloka, through this shloka. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. This is a very famous statement of the Gita. Shraddha is positive mentality, positive attitude, positive state of mind with respect, reverence for the Guru. Asti astikya buddhi. The teachings of the Gurus are true, the teachings of the scriptures are true. Not only we should have a belief, belief becomes a blind belief, it is a conviction. The state of conviction in our mind The teachings of the Shastras and the teachings of the Gurus are true, and I will follow that. So it is a state of enthusiasm and zeal to proceed with the spiritual path. This is Shraddha. So only Shraddhavan, one who is endowed with Shraddha, will get the knowledge. This is the first statement Krishna makes in this sloka. And now, but the Shraddha is not enough. He should be tatparaha. He should do enterprise. He should struggle hard. He should go to the Guru and learn the essentials or the crux of the spiritual life, and he should engage himself in meditation, japa, and he should strive very hard to reach the God. And this kind of striving is called here tatparaha. So jnana labdha upaye gurupasadhanau abhiyuktaha. One who is engaged in the disciplines like approach and guru, etc., which are the upaya, the means of the getting the knowledge. This is the meaning of the tatparaha. Even one is endowed with Shraddha, even one who is struggling hard, he may be he may not be controlling his organs. Ajitendriyaha na syat. Ajitendriyaha syat. Jitendriya means one who has conquered the senses. Ajitendriya means one who has not conquered the senses. One may be full of faith, or he may be enterprising, struggling very hard to realize God, engaged in spiritual discipline. The problem with him is he has not controlled the senses. That will not do. Krishna, that's why he adds Sanyatendriyaha. So there are three qualities: Shraddha, Tatparata, and Sanyatendriyaha. Shankaracharya explains, Sanyatani Vishayebhyaha Nivartitani Yasya Indriyani, controlled, withdrawn from the objects of the senses, whose organs are withdrawn from the senses. Such person is called the Sanyatendriyaha. Essentially, Krishna points out the three qualifications are absolutely necessary if one wants to realize knowledge in short period. So if he doesn't have Shraddha, or if he doesn't struggle hard, and if he is not endowed with control of the mind or withdrawal of the senses, he has to struggle, he has to pursue for longer time. So if he has all these three qualities, it takes not longer time but shorter time for him to realize the knowledge. This is the idea. The second line shows that, exhibits that, Nanam labdha, he will get the knowledge. So one who is endowed with Shraddha, one who is enterprising, Tatparata, and one who has withdrawn the senses from the sense objects, Sanyatendriyaha, he will get the knowledge. Knowledge when he will get? Achirena jnanam ladva, achirena, within a short period. That can be added to this also. Achirena shantim adhigacchati. So jnana leads to peace. This is a wonderful idea. Only through the jnana one can attain the eternal peace, permanent peace, perfect peace. Any kind of success, any kind of achievements in this worldly life will not give us happiness, real happiness, or the contentment or the peace of mind. In the religious field, these three are not different, they are one and the same. Happiness, contentment, and the peace. You cannot get happiness when there is no contentment. When there is no contentment and happiness, you will not have the peace of mind. So the peace of mind is such a state where you feel, I don't want anything. The Upanishad says, Apta Kama. Apta Kama means he has already fulfilled all his desires. Only Atma Kama will become Atma Kama, the Upanishad says. So one who desires, one who has realized Atman, his only object of desire is Atman, then he will become the Apta Kama. That Atma Kama, that desire for Atman comes only when we are devoid of any kind of Kama, Akama. So only a desireless person will become the Atma Kama, Apta Kama, on the fulfillment of all the desires. Only one becomes the Apta Kama, one will become the Atma Kama. So there is a connection between these three words, Apta Kama, Atma Kama, and Akama. This is how the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad describes a realized soul. Shantim adhigacchati. He will attain the Shanti. He will obtain the Shanti after having obtained the knowledge. This is very important. That means only the knowledge of God is the source of happiness, is the source of bliss, source of peace. This is the fact of the matter that we have to understand. And another epithet is added here for peace. It is not the ordinary peace which is spoken here. It is supreme peace, Param Shantim. So in another place Krishna says, Shantim Nirvana Paramam Madbhaktam Adhigacchati. This is the cessation of all the suffering. That is Shanti here. No suffering is with there, because Ajnana is the cause of the suffering. When Ajnana is destroyed by the Jnana, there will be no more suffering. That is what is called bliss. So this bliss is not a positive kind of bliss that we experience in our day-to-day life. When we experience some sense pleasures, we say sense pleasures give us happiness. So it is a kind of positive experience. Enjoyment of sense pleasure is temporary, so the bliss or the happiness is also temporary. But in this case, it is removal of ajnana. Ajnana causes the dukkha or the suffering. When ajnana is removed, the state we get, cessation of all the miseries, that is what is called bliss here or the shanti here. So we should understand the difference between Param Shantim and ordinary Shantim. Param, the supreme peace, and ordinary Shanti, ordinary kind of Shanti we get from the Indriyas or in the ordinary world. So the next shloka, the shloka number 40. Ajnascha ajshraddha dhanascha samshayatma vinashyati nayam lokosti na paro nasukam samshayatmanaha. Ajnascha, ajna means without knowledge. He will be always with ashraddha, he doesn't have the faith. He will not have the faith because he is an ignorant person. and he is always ended, always troubled by the doubts, samshayatma. He will goes into ruin according to Krishna. His life will be waste. His life will be next to the brute's life, because there is no difference between animal life and the human life if we are not endowed with knowledge or the shraddha, etc. He is a doubting Thomas, as we call in English. For him, na ayam lokaha asti. He doesn't enjoy this loka. He will not be happy in this loka at all. Always he doubts. Everything he doubts. How can he have happiness when everything he doubts? So there is no loka for him. This loka is not there for him, because there is no happiness in this loka. Na lokaha asti, na paraha. He will not have enjoyment in the other world also. So other world means, in the olden days, if you do a sacrifice, there is a belief that he will get a loka. He will go to a loka, he will go to another world where he can enjoy. For samshayatma, one who is always doubting, there is no loka. This present loka is full of suffering, and of course the next loka also will be full of suffering or the misery. And also he will not be endowed with sukham at all. He will always be unhappy. So there are three things he misses. He will lose this life, he will lose the next life, and he will lose the happiness also. For according to Krishna, the samshaya is the biggest mistake a man commits. He says in the next sloka, yoga sanyasta karmanam jnana samchinna samshayam atmavantam na karmani nibadnanti dhananjaya. O Dhananjaya, yoga sanyasta karmanam, one who has abandoned the work through yoga of meditation and dedication. Work means here the work done with selfish motive, thinking that it is my work and I am doing this work for the benefit of myself and I will reap the results. This is an ordinary kind of work. So in Vedanta, this work is called a kamya karma. So that work he has relinquished. Sanyasta karma. Sannyasi means who has relinquished the kamya karma. Sannyasi can continue to do the dedicated actions dedicated to the Lord. Then yoga sanyasta karma. How he has relinquished or renounced the ordinary karma? Through yoga. Yoga here means, according to Shankaracharya, Paramartha Darshana itself yoga. As Sri Ramakrishna also says, only when you realize God, you can give up the work in total. Until that, you have to continue to do the work. So only the Paramartha Darshana, the realization of the God, realization of Atman, will make us completely abdicate the work. Otherwise, we cannot relinquish the work at all. So, karma sannyasa is done through the help of jnana or the yoga. So, yoga, here it is not the practice of yoga or the yoga of meditation or yoga of karma yoga, no. Here, according to Shankaracharya, it is the full realization, complete realization. Of course, the complete realization of Atman is also called yoga. Yoga sanyasta karmanam, jnana samchinna samshayam. The samshaya, which is ridiculed in the previous sloka, here the jnani has completely given up that samshaya. The samshaya one will give up totally only when he realizes the God. That's why Krishna says here, only jnana removes the samshaya. Samshaya is removed or doubts are dispelled by the divine knowledge. Jnana samchinna samshayam. And atmavantam, who is poised in the self. This is the literal meaning. He is always established in Atman, one's own Atman. But Shankaracharya gives a different meaning. He says, one who is always careful, always vigilant, apramattam. He will always be thinking that I am not the doer. The senses are engaged with the objects of the senses. That is what work. I am not a worker. I am Atman. So one should maintain this Atmic consciousness that I am Atman always, without any defect, without allowing oneself to go down from the state, without allowing the mind to waver, without allowing mind to go here and there. That state, Shankaracharya says, it is Atmavantam. Hoe Dhananjaya, O Arjuna, na karmani nibadnanti. Such person, the karmas will not bind. He can continue to do the karma, but the karmas will not bind because he has realized. The realized person can continue to do karma. The last sloka of this chapter, Tasmat, therefore, ajnana sambhutam hrustam jnanasinatmanaha chitvainam samshayam yogam atishta uttishta bharata. Hrustam ajnanam, where the ajnana is situated in the buddhi. Already Krishna has kama yesha, krodha yesha, rajo guna samudbhava, mahashano, mahapapma, etc. Kama, krodha, lobha, these are all situated in indriyani mano buddhihi, he said. In indriya, the crucible or the ashraya sthanas of the kama, krodha and moha, kama, krodha, lobha are indriyas. Here he says, ajnana is situated in the buddhi. Hridi means here heart. In reality, heart means here buddhi. Because Upanishad says hridi. Hridi means there, Shankaracharya explains, it is buddhi. So, ajnana sambhutam, hrustam, ajnana sambhutam, born of ignorance, where that ajnana resides in the heart. Atmanaha ajnanam, the ajnana relating to the Atman, one's own real nature. Tasmat atmanaha hrustam ajnana sambhutam yenam samshayam. So he is still speaking about the samshaya. Samshaya resides, yenam means here we have to derive from the previous sloka. What is this? What is this means samshaya. The yenam samshayam. This samshaya about which I have spoken earlier, it resides in the buddhi and it is born out of ajnana. This is what Krishna said. So we have to cut it. We have to destroy it. How? Through jnanasi, with the sword of the jnana, with the sword of the jnana, that is Brahma-Atmaikatva jnanam, the knowledge of Atman and the Brahman. Chitva, having cut, samshayam, yogam atishta. Atishta means follow the yoga. Follow the yoga. Endowed with the yoga. What is yoga? Already explained. samadhi yoga, karma yoga. The result will be that also is yoga, paramartha darshana yoga. If you are a jnani, you are endowed with yoga of the supreme realization. If you are only aspirant, you should be endowed with the yoga of samadhi, dhyana yoga, the yoga of meditation, and the yoga of karma yoga. Yogam atishta, follow the yoga, always endowed with the yoga. But now you should you should fight. Oh, I will practice yoga, oh Arjuna. Now I will retire from the battlefield and I will go to the forest. No, 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 no. Yoga matishta. At present, you should uttishta. You should arise. Arise to the war. This is the meaning. Shankaracharya say, Idanim yuddhaya uttishta. For the sake of waging war, you should now get up. Perhaps Krishna, Arjuna is leaning in front of Krishna. That is why Krishna is asking him to get up. Why should I get? You should get up, so that you should get up and wage the war. This is the idea. Om Tat Saditi Srimad Bhagavadgita Su Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yogo Nama Chaturthodhyaya. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.